It must be symbolic now that my internet goes out when I'm about to do a review. I don't even know. It just dropped. But how you guys doing today? It's your boy Slick, and today we're going to be doing a review on a tank that I don't play too often, but when I do, I enjoy the living hell out of it. And that is the T10m. This is the last heavy tank in the game. When I say the last heavy tank, I'm pretty sure the top tier heavy tank. It is the highest BR heavy tank in the game. Now, I personally am not going to go over all of the number crunching, but there will be gifs and gaffs and spooks and loofs on the screen right now, telling you guys about armor values and whatnot. You guys can always go check out yourself. But what I'm going to talk about is the no bullshit, right? And what that is how do you play this tank? How do I use this tank effectively to do well in game? And don't worry about camo. You don't really need camo. And there is one thing that you're going to have to do to set this up. So the E key on your keyboard, it's located right next to the W and above the D. This is cruise control. So whenever you decide to play this tank, make sure your cruise control is set to the max. Maximum overdrive ability. Some people might think, well, why would you set that to maximum overdrive? You can't stop once you start going with this thing. Can't stop, won't stop. It has a stabilizer. It is a fantastic beast. It's armed with a 122mm gun that has 3 different ammo types that are worth using. They're all worth it for some reason or another. So you have the APC-BC, the end-all be-all round. This is my favorite round in-game. A lot of people say, well, Slick, you always shoot heat from leopards and stuff. Is that your favorite round in game? You need to use cheat FS, blah, blah, blah. No. My favorite round in game is this gun's APC-BC. It rocks anything it penetrates. If it penetrates, it's dead. One hit. Doesn't matter. And along with that, it also is armed with 2 Dishkas, 250 cals, which is nice. Let's talk a little bit about the other ammo choices because you might be curious. So APC-BC. We have Heat FS. The Heat FS is nice, but it's not as powerful in terms of explosion power as the APC-BC. And last but not least is the laser pointer. The laser pointer APDS. The Sabo on this tank is, I think, the highest velocity on par with the APFSDS round in-game. That's shot from the T62. It is insane. It is a laser pointer. It must have such a big charge behind it. I don't even know. So there's a couple different ways to play this tank. You can snipe with it and know that nothing will be able to penetrate you from long range, really. If you play it properly, you can play this tank as a brawler, which it can do well, surprisingly, at this tier, because you'll bounce some of the lower tier tanks, and leopards and stuff just poop themselves when they run into you because you are just insane. Absolutely insane. The tank is maneuverable for a heavy tank. It has the qualities that you would want in a heavy tank, and it is just the epitome of what a heavy tank should be at this BR, at this meta in-game. It's fast, it's maneuverable, it has the armor, like I said, it has a stabilizer, it has a powerful, heavy-hitting gun, and I guess the only drawback to this tank is gun depression and reload speed, and that's what you get with Russian tanks is gun depression. So if you grind to this, you already know that you're not going to have gun depression. And if you play heavy tanks, you know that they have long reload speeds. The mouse is no better. So yeah, that's basically it. That's what you do. You drive forward, you destroy things, and it is just incredible what a heavy tank should be. This is what all heavy tanks should strive to be. They want to be the T10m. Now, let's talk about its placement in-game, because it is in a mix of a lot of strong, savage vehicles, no doubt. They don't like to play around. They really don't. They have Leopards, we have STBs, we have Type 74s. None of those tanks play around. You notice I didn't say a lot of other tanks, but there's a lot of other tanks. The Chieftain, they don't mess around at this tier. They're fast, they flank, they can penetrate you. Absolutely beast vehicles that you have to face. But somehow the T10 manages to do it. The fact of its space side armor, low profile, extremely hard to pen turret, spaced out crew, just everything falls in its favor. It somehow lives time and time again through complete adversity. It is insane how well this vehicle is equipped to deal with problems like that. In terms of leopards, they usually will have to swarm you if you are playing properly, and if you're in a platoon, forget about it. I would say in terms of top tier vehicles, this is one of the best for Russia. Their top tier lineup is semi-lacking in terms of a MBT department. We know that the T-62, while it is not an MBT by Russian standards, is the top tier MBT, right? They didn't start labeling their tanks MBTs until the T-64, which I hope gets added. But we have the T-62 now. It has a long reload. It's kind of a jack-of-all-trades tank. It's not the most difficult to play, but it's also not the best. And it has definitely a capping factor because of its long reload. This tank has armor, is almost as maneuverable, and doesn't really matter if it has a long reload because it one-shots absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Anything you face. And, I mean, you know, I would say that this thing is definitely easier to play than the T-62. I would rather play the T-62 most games because I do prefer a challenge. I don't think the T10 is suited for that challenge role. It is a very, very nice, lackadaisical, maybe that's not the proper word for it, tank, but you kind of just drive forward and shoot things, and there's not much to it. It promotes massive games. You can have massive games like the one that you're watching in the background now was all one game. In fact, the first game I played in the T10 for this recording session, I was like, wow, I don't have to record any more background footage because of how well this tank did. And it's great. That being said, it also has a decent lineup around it. Now, I'm one of the people who thinks that Russia top-tier lineup is not the best in the game. I would say Germany has the best top-tier lineup, followed by maybe either America or Britain, just because of how the planes are set up and how the tanks are set up. So, you know, for America and Germany, they get sabers that have 16 rockets. This thing doesn't get that in a lineup. It gets an IL-28, which is a great plane. No, tank. It's a tank, technically. It's a great plane to get people off your 6. You can do a little bit of dogfighting, but it's not as accurate since they removed the reticle. You can't do as much with it. So since that's a factor, I would say most definitely not the strongest lineup. Now, we know the ZSU 57-2 is a good AA gun for killing leopards and such, but again, with the hull break mechanic, it's kind of been nerfed a little bit. It's not the easiest end-all be-all tank anymore. The Shilka is great for shooting down planes, but the Shilka doesn't get any anti-tank capabilities. So you kind of have to spread your lineup real thin. Russia doesn't have a jet that can do these ground passes at high speeds like a CL-13 or a Saber can. So that means your tanks on the ground need to be very resilient. And putting a T10 in your lineup will definitely help that. I think a proper lineup for this vehicle would be a T10, a Shilka, a T-62, a ZSU, and either an IL-28 or a TU-14, I would say. And I would think that would be the proper lineup to take out into this BR. Now, I think I said 6 vehicles there. If you only have 5 slots, then I would say substitute either the ZSU 57 or the Shilka for each other. But other than that, I think this tank is great. I absolutely love this tank. It's a beast. It's fun to play. It's just, I mean, you can't really complain too much about it. The thing is, I kill these things a lot. So I don't complain about how hard they are to kill, because they do have a glaring weakness. The ammo is to either the left or the right of the pike nose. Now, this tank is a pike nose tank. I guess I should have mentioned this earlier when we were speaking on how good the armor is. A pike nose is pre-angled for you. Think about it like a Tiger. You have to turn it at a 45-degree angle to make the armor more effective. A Tiger 1, that is. This tank, it's already pre-angled. It's a pike nose. That's what it means. It's pointed at the front, and the plates are angled. So if you point your nose directly at an enemy, you are in the best angled position that you could possibly be in. The only way to negate this is doing a reverse side scraping. This doesn't come out a lot in this game, and I don't think a lot of people have mentioned this, what a reverse side scraping is. It's used in World of Tanks a lot, with primarily the IS-4. And this tank, because of the side armor of these vehicles, they have this trolley side armor. Reverse side scraping is side scraping like you would normally think, but since the turret is up so much, like it's forward on the tank, you have this large engine deck to shoot over on the back. So if you put the back of your tank towards a wall, I'll show you some type of version of this. Put your back of your engine against a wall, you can angle your vehicle to be bouncing shots. You'll be angled, and you'll have a shot without the enemies having a shot on your flat engine deck. So they'll have to be shooting at your turret or your side. And again, against normal AP rounds, this is a very hard tank to do, or a very hard thing to do. So that's basically it. The T10m, great tank. I absolutely love it. I think it fits into the Russian meta pretty well, and I think it is the epitome of what a heavy tank should be and what it strives to be, because it's just a fantastic tank. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to read some comments from the last review I did and really clean up my act and figure out what you guys wanted. Some people said they wanted some number crunching, but I don't really like to talk about that, so I figured I would put it up on screen for you guys and do a little bit of images and stuff over my voice with the background image, and hopefully give you guys a better understanding of how to play this tank, what to expect when you get it, and just how you feel about it. So if you guys like the T10m, leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments down below how many kills your best game was with the T10m. I'm sure somebody's going to be like, I killed 47 tanks in a custom battle once. And I'm like, well, thanks, Jimmy. And I think that's all. So I'll definitely see you guys later on today if my internet comes back up. Man, thank you, Time Warner Cable. You guys helped me out a lot. See you guys in the next one. Peace.